Tarets is show where we try to cover topics that are not discussed enough in the African community. I'm your host, Jean-Pierre Kahindo, and today here we have some new faces. Let's start all the way at the end. Can you introduce yourself?
I'm Jonathan.
Hi, I'm Jael, whatever suits you.
All right.
Oh, me, I'm Amar.
I'm Diana.
All right. Today we're gonna discuss relationship dynamics, and for today the topic is we're trying to see who is supposed to lead in a relationship. All right. What do you guys think? Who's supposed to lead in a relationship? The guy or the girl?
The guy.
It looks like you're ready. She's ready to go. All right.
Me?
Yeah. Who's supposed to lead in a relationship?
Okay, so like speaking in the context of like we're African, right?
Okay.
And so like honestly, like the way we're all raised, like we're taught that the man leads the house, right? Like the man is the head of the
What do
household.
you believe?
What I personally believe, I believe that too. But I feel like there's like some men view leadership as like they're in control of everything, right? And that's not what leadership is. I feel like if you're leading a woman in the right way, like things are gonna be good for both of you guys. Like you both need each other. And I feel like in our African culture, we're kind of taught like what the man says goes, like what the woman said, like the woman has no say in anything. But like for like a leader is someone that's supposed to listen to like their wife, taking into consideration what she thinks, what her opinions are. Like for example, like we have bosses, right? Like if our bosses are listening to our problems, if our bosses are listening to what we got to say, we want to work hard for them. Like we're actually gonna do above and beyond for them. So like if my man, like I want my man to lead. Like I want to follow my man. But like I need my man to listen to what I got to say. Like sometimes I could even give him like insight. Like if it's like, babe, I got a problem. This is this and that. I'm like, okay, this is how I think you should handle it. He'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. So yeah, that's how I see it.
So you think a man should lead?
Yes.
Okay.
How about let's ladies first. What do you think? Who's supposed to lead in a relationship?
A man, but like she said, as Africans, we raised as the man leads the house and all that. I mean, some Americans believe that too, but the way us Africans handle that is way different than Americans. As women, we're just like housewives, which is
No.
I mean, our generation is different,
Right.
but like our mothers and stuff and
That's a
grandmas, they believe you should be the wife should be at home taking care of the kids, cooking and all that, and the man provides everything. But to me, that's not okay. Like, I want to have my own future. I want to build something for my own. And while you building something for your own, we can build something together for our household. Instead, yeah, I want my man to go out, provide for his family, but at the same time, I want to do that too, and not just depend on the man. Because a man can leave me any day and wake up and be like, I don't want you and all that. Then what am I going to be left with? Nothing. So therefore, yes, a man should take the lead, but at the same time, I got to have something going on for myself and not just depend on my man. That's what I believe.
All right. John.
Like me on a personal note, like before we look even into like African culture and stuff like that, we have to always look at it firstly like in a biblical sense, because when God created the world, He created Adam, and when He created Adam, Adam needed a helper, so he needed Eve. That's what God gave to
Hold on, okay. Exactly. God created Eve for Adam to help him. So why not a woman help a man with everything?
I mean that.
With some of
I mean,
let me help you guys real quick. We have here a Bible verse that I would like to hear your opinion on.
Second Timothy.
2 Timothy 11 to verse 11 to 14. All right. A woman should learn in quietness and full submission. Full, not part.
exactly.
All right. I do not permit a woman to teach or to assume authority over a man. She must be quiet. For Adam was formed first, then Eve. And Adam was not the one deceived. It was the woman who was deceived and became a sinner.
Yeah, and that's like the exact point I was bringing up. like when God created Adam, or even like in a sense of like in a relationship wise, say for example, like me and her, we were married. Not it's not gonna happen, but I'm just saying. Say for example, if me and her were married, God created me as the man with the strength and the mindset to lead the household. So therefore, like I have the vision. So therefore, the woman's role was to basically like support the man in what he wants to do. So she's more like she makes things go fast like 2 times quicker. You understand? So that's the way I see it. But personally, like for me in these days, I mean, it's not a problem for a woman to like be independent and want to like do her own thing, but it's more like you can still have your own independence within the relationship, but you just as a woman has to know like how to balance it, because at the end of the day, like each man will always want to be the alpha male in the relationship. So that's how I see it.
I would like to speak on the behalf of women. If we have women here, I want to hear what you guys have to say. But I think a common complaint is you say you want to lead, but are you capable of leading? I think the biggest problem nowadays, some guys they're not necessarily capable of leading. And in order for a woman to trust you, do you guys think guys are doing what it takes for you to put your trust in them? Especially our generation, are they really doing what it takes for you to be able to submit to them?
Think before
What
you
you
guys.
You want to talk?
No,
I think so. This one's for
Okay,
the women. Let's
so-
let them go first.
So
Do you think our
speaking-
generation of guys?
Okay, speaking on that specific verse that you read, like you have to think about the context that it was written in. That verse was written by Paul, and it was written to Timothy. Like Timothy was like a young pastor at the time. So it was like a letter. It was a letter to the church. And that church in Ephesus specifically was like, the women there were like wilding. Like the church had mad problems, right? Specifically the women being loud, crazy. And so like he was trying to give Timothy like rules or he was trying to give him advice on how to structure the church, that specific church. And so when it's talking about women like being quiet in that church, he was talking about the women of Ephesus. And so like you can't take that Bible verse and put a blanket statement on everything, you know, because there's so many Bible verses that actually back up the fact that women are pillars of are pillars in the church, and like their voices should be heard because they have something to say about the word of God. Like for example, like the whole the man is the head of the household, like that verse in Ephesians, it's basically saying that like the man is the head of the household just like Christ is the head of the church. And so like the wife should submit to the man just like the husband should submit to Christ. And then it's talking about somehow like the husbands should love their wives just like Christ has loved the church. And so like when you're talking about the point where you brought up like are guys capable of leading, that's the whole part. It's like, how can I trust you to lead me if you're not submitting to Christ, right? Like how can, like you need to love me the way Christ has loved the church, right? Like love comes with patience, kindness, all that stuff. It's like if you don't have those qualities, how can you lead me as a man? And like you expecting me to be quiet and meek and humble, like I understand, like I need to respect you as a man, but you need to love me as like your wife, right? As your woman. And like it goes both ways. We need each other. Like I don't need you to assume that I just need to be quiet and like just meek all the time. Like I need my voice to be heard. So like that verse that you brought up was like specifically for that church, you know? Like there are other.
Can we use as a lesson overall
Yes,
nowadays?
we can.
So what about you guys? Do you think we're doing everything that we can for the women to be able to trust us?
Are we?
This generation.
First, well, she was right on that part. You know that the verse was more toward the church, but like you said, it can connect to a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in our generation today, it's always about the power between couples. Who get more power, who get less power. You know what I mean? And in the country, especially in the country we're living in, you know, women's are basically the men. In power-wise, they're trying to be the men. Now, what I'm trying to say is, it seems that way now.
Explain yourself.
No, let me explain.
Give us examples.
For example, like, see, okay, for example, it's like, you guys expect us to give you guys more of modern habit, but you guys don't want us to get rid of the habit of opening a door for you guys or be classic for you guys. So you guys want us to give you guys the 2020, but still keep that 1960 at the same time.
That is a great point.
You see what I'm saying?
I feel like a lot of times when we clash with each other, it's always we're trying to mix the old stuff and the new stuff.
Yeah.
But those things cannot work together.
So
Like,
back to my point. No, hold on. Back to my point though. Back to my point. No, hold on. Back to my
From
point.
the past, we gotta move.
No, but
forward.
no.
Like,
Here's the
it's a
point
new
though.
world
Here's the
that we
point though.
developing.
But here's the
So
point.
obviously we can expect
So
new-
we go back to of course, the verse, the Bible verse. That was pretty old, right? And of course, it wouldn't make sense to just have the woman completely, it just don't make no sense. But the problem comes when the woman trying to take the man's place. Because at the end of the day, I was raised by an African mother and an African father. You know what I mean? Therefore, that's how I was trained. I grew up knowing to treat my wife like my dad treated my mother. So therefore, as a man in the house, I won't expect you to take the trash out. You know what I mean? Unless if I just can't do it. Therefore, if I come in the house from work, there should be food in the house. You know what I mean? But now it's like trying to be flipped over.
Exactly, like what to add on what like Amar was saying, I feel like us men, we have to look at it as in a perspective like how we conduct ourselves. You understand? Because like women, their intuition is basically like to follow the way how a man acts around him. But I can say like we don't even need to look at it in a whole perspective of like women's all that stuff. I feel like I don't want to blame the government, but the government is to blame about this a bit because they opened up women to more opportunity. You understand? So it's like when women start getting money in the household, it's like they don't know how to act, kind of like.
They don't.
You know what I mean? And this is real because like if I was married to her and if she was making more money than me, her voice is bigger than mine. So therefore, it's like I step down in my place of authority. Right. So a man these days, it has to be like, if he's not in a perspective whereby he can provide, a man will always be disrespected. That's how I see it.
And let's not forget the fact.
Let's hear from you. Let's hear from you.
I disagree.
Go ahead.
At one point, my mom was working and my dad was not working, but that didn't make my mom like a head of the household. She still knew her spot in the house.
Yeah, but I'm talking about
my dad was still in the lead.
Okay, but I'm talking about of this woman's generation. So let me ask you a question. So if I was married to you, would you allow me stay home while you work and still give me that respect of that sort of authority as a man? That's impossible.
He can.
I gotta answer.
So we gotta look at it as in like.
But I gotta know what's stopping it from getting up and having a job.
Exactly.
And as a wife, I'm supposed to push you.
You
know,
like
at the end of the day, as
Okay,
a woman.
let's pause for a second. Okay, so let's go with that example. Say for you stay at home all day and she goes to work. She came home from a 10-hour shift. Yeah. Do you expect her to still come home and make food for you while you stay at home?
Exactly. That's why I'm saying as the man.
When you say as a man, what do you mean by that?
I feel like as a man, our expectation is to work and all of that stuff. But you see, when God created us, like say for example, a woman's mindset is like this, right? They're more like I don't want to bash you. But a woman's mindset is like, if you're not in a position to provide anyway, it's like they're understanding, but it's gonna be for a certain amount of time. You understand what I mean? Because like me as a man, like I can take my woman in and I can provide, I can give her money, even if I though I know I won't save as much. Like my satisfaction is okay. At least my whole family is good. Not even my woman, but my whole family is good.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? But a woman is like, when she got something, women don't always think about the family. Like, okay, me, you, wife, kids, whatever. That's how I see it.
Okay.
So man, mindset is more about everybody.
I mean, you were close to be right.
I was
You
close.
was
That's why I correct
Bro, you was
What's it? No, he was
So
right.
what does
He was
a
right.
woman
No, what
think
he
if
should
it's
have
not gonna
said
think
is-
about the family?
No, it's not that they don't think.
They don't.
They don't think about the family, but the man gives all to
Yeah.
his family.
He gives all.
The woman.
And you don't think the woman
No,
gives
no,
her
no,
all?
no. The woman in
I'm
different
not saying
ways.
that.
In different ways.
In different
Exactly.
In different ways.
Yeah.
You know what I
But
mean?
they all give their all. You know what I mean? Okay, I feel like a lot of the things you said was so problematic. But to me,
You see?
right?
Break it
Okay, no,
down.
listen though. Listen. You're saying that you feel like because women have more rights, because they have more opportunities, that they're trying to become the head of the household, right? Women having more opportunities, I feel like you should look at that as a good thing. Like, you should be so proud that your wife has a career, or like she's doing something for herself. You seeing a problem with that is an insecurity of your own. You know what I mean?
not- it's-
Not you. I'm just saying as men in general.
But the point is-
I'm not saying you specifically. I'm saying men in
Sure
general.
of yourself being a man, you should not have a problem with your wife
Right.
having something going on for herself.
And the whole thing with the whole like
No, there's
working
nothing
thing.
wrong with that. Hold on, there's nothing wrong
But
with you
the way-
having something going.
exactly
But the way
he's
But the
saying
thing is,
it.
it's all about let me be the man of the house, and I'll
You
let you be
can't.
the
Listen though.
Let's pause for a second.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be the man of the house?
Be the
My
man
friend.
of the house is to get the respect of being a man.
And
does
how
that-
can
what's,
I respect a man that doesn't lead in the right way? How can I
Okay,
respect
now you're talking about the man that doesn't lead the right way.
Listen. Okay, can I speak? Okay, I feel like let's say this. I feel like every relationship is specific to their own, right? Like you create your own relationship. Okay, for example, like you said that you want to work and you want to come home to a wife that cooks and that has the food ready. Then marry that type of girl. Me, I feel like everyone has.
So you want me to cooking for
Listen.
Wait. Okay.
Listen.
And that perspective, you putting words
I
in
feel
my
like
mouth.
no, I'm not
You
trying
understand?
to. Okay, explain
Okay.
yourself.
You putting words in my mouth. What we were talking about, I was saying a woman would not give respect to a man that sits at home while she works.
It depends
understand?
on what
It depends
kind
on
of
the
woman
situation though.
and why
Okay.
you're not working.
if you're not working just to work, my
Like
friend,
I seen a story on Facebook. Like
But we
this
can't say that
guy,
too.
Let's hear it.
he
Me too,
literally
you can say the same thing to me.
No, it's
put
not.
his life like on hold for his wife to go to school and get a career. And that's the man I respect.
I respect
Wait,
that.
hold on,
when
repeat that again. I didn't
she's-
hear that. What?
A man put his life on hold
Okay.
so his wife can go to school and start a
Okay,
career.
but-
And hold on, and once she was done, she got a job and her man went back to school.
Okay.
And
They
that's
held
the
each
man
other-
I
they held each
respect.
other
He
down.
helped his woman get something going on for herself
Myself.
and that she's good. He made sure she's straight.
That should have been done before we got together.
She's straight. And now it's his time to get up and get something for him. And while they're doing
Okay.
that, they're still building
You know
something
why
for
he did that?
themselves.
You know why he did that? Back to his point. Like he said earlier, a man would do everything for his family.
Exactly, and that's all we want.
But the problem is that will he get the credit though?
Yes, he
Yes,
will.
he will.
Yes,
Me,
yes,
if
sir.
my man
Yes,
did
that's
that,
my man. Yes,
if
I
he
respect
did that,
him.
trust me, I'll be washing his feet every day.
Yes, ma'am.
If he did that
that's
for
the thing.
me.
Y'all think that it's easy to say
It's
that.
easy to say that.
It's
but
easy
when-
to say that, but
but-
once you get in the house,
Yeah.
I already know the first problem will come.
I mean,
the
none
money
of us
part.
know
The
what
money
we're
part.
gonna-
Okay, let me give you an example. Okay, if we were in a relationship, can me and you start one bank account?
What do you mean?
Exactly
Like,
what
in a
I thought. Keep
relationship
going.
or a
No.
marriage? In a relationship or a marriage?
If we're like in a relationship, we're trying to build.
Get serious.
Would you
In
start?
a dating relationship?
Okay, but
no.
but relationship. I'm looking at it in a
If-
like
in
in
a-
a courtship perspective.
In
Like
a
we're gonna
marriage.
get married. Okay, would you share a bank account with me?
No.
Exactly. So you see, but a man,
But you put your hold so she could finish school.
Like me as a man, a person as a man, I can put myself in that situation because I trust you.
No,
Because-
that's
okay,
not.
look at that.
That is not every man though.
In our generation,
I mean, to have
where
a
am I
joint
lying?
account.
Okay, wait.
If
Yeah.
we're married, yeah, but if we're just dating,
Okay,
we're
you
just
see-
No,
No,
because you
wait,
can
wait.
wake up and be like, I'm
just
done.
my
Now you see the
boyfriend.
point. Now
And
wait.
probably spend my
Let-
money
let
on
me
another
speak.
girl.
Friend,
Let me
my
speak.
ring, where's my ring?
Now you see the point.
Yeah.
This is the problem with women. You see what I mean? A man, first of all, in this generation, to be honest, I can be the most handsomest guy in the world.
Yeah.
But a man lies with his pocket. To be honest, right? So if like in a relationship, like if I don't got any money, it's like okay, the woman she will be there.
Yeah,
but
but
it's like
it's-
if I don't even
it'll
have
be a
like the
question
ambition to
mark
get
every
it, it's
day,
like a
yeah.
question mark.
Yeah, it's like,
you understand what I
when
mean?
is-
Okay,
So it's like if me as a man, because in this generation, like to be honest, like if somebody can trust you with his money, that means that person is down to lay his life for you. Because at the end of the day, like we live off money, we live off resources, we live off
Okay, I
equity
agree
that we
with
can
you.
build.
Okay, I agree with
understand?
you, and let me explain to you why
Now
it's
you
like
agree,
that.
now you
I
agree.
agree with you.
Now
I
you agree.
I
You didn't
agree with
agree
you.
before.
Listen. This is why I agree with you. I feel like it's the way that we're kind of made, genetically made. We're made to look at like men, like the way women are made. Like they look at men like, can this man provide for me? Can he take care of me? Like even back in the days, like how like we can this man like really be there for me? And like the man will look at the woman like, can this woman like be a wife for me? Can
Exactly.
he possibly have my future
Can she
kids?
share a bank account with you?
Right?
Yeah, but
And
I
so
mean,
like the money part is that security, is that protection, is that like that's how women are looking at it. I'm sorry, but like not every woman is a gold digger. I'm not gonna look at a man and be like, I only care about his pockets.
I'm not saying that.
But it is important.
Still, the fact is that if I did not have the money, I can be the most handsome. I can be the most handsome guy
I'm
in the
sorry,
world.
but why
I
do you
would
not
get
get
the
any
respect.
money?
But I won't
want
do
it.
that as a man.
Like I don't know what kind of woman you attract, but me, money is like the last thing.
Would you? Okay, wait. Time out. Would you?
Be real.
Let me go.
Money is not everything. Okay,
Let me go.
I don't know what type of girls y'all be
Would
getting with.
you marry a homeless guy?
No.
You see?
Would you marry a homeless guy?
guy?
If I was
No, I'm
homeless,
not marrying a homeless guy. Why?
okay. If I was homeless and I'm like, okay, wait. If I was homeless
But
and
there's
if I said,
levels.
okay,
There's
honey,
levels
let's start
to it.
life.
There's-
I'm telling you, a guy can walk on the street, she'll find a girl without anything, with just one outfit.
And that's y'all.
You see?
Y'all been saying that for the cameras, but in real life, y'all know you're not
reality,
gonna.
So you seeing a homeless
reality-
girl?
Y'all
she
want-
not-
Okay, let's
Y'all
go back to
want
our
the
culture.
girl
Let's go
that's,
back to
like,
our culture. Let's go
everywhere,
back to our
dressed
culture.
nice
Hold on.
and
Let's
everything.
go back to our cultures, right? We all know the fact, especially back home, when a guy goes to a wife's house, if he don't have anything to impress especially the fathers, he have no chance. He have
A
no
man is
chance
based on
of
his
getting a
money.
girl. There you go.
This is
Because
the
it's
A
trying to
man's
see, will you
financially.
protect and take care of my daughter. That's,
Financially, right?
Yeah.
But we don't look at
but
y'all
that's
that
the,
way.
That's the mindset. It's not the it's the mindset of like, are you gonna take care of me?
That way,
Okay.
you're a man and you're supposed to lead, right?
I see options outside.
She's agreeing with me now.
No, but listen though, I feel like it comes from a place of like I was saying, like it comes from a place of like, are you gonna be able to take care of me? It's not the place of like, I just want him for his money. Cause at the end of the day, like if you're with a real chick that's down for you, like I'm telling you, I'm sorry, but like I would never get with the dude solely based off his money. I would never be like, oh, I want his money.
I mean,
Even I would pay for stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's just like the type of girl that you're with.
No, it's not even about that. Personally, me as a man, I don't feel like if I take you out, for example, right? I don't feel like you even in that position to like pull out a wallet in front of me.
You have to.
Because it's like for me, it's like, are you trying to diss my manhood? Like, am I adequate?
Unless
you know what I
you
mean?
fight for
Like, can
kids,
I provide?
you wanna do that.
You understand?
Yeah.
So that's my kind of character, the way I conduct myself. You understand? So I don't even put myself in a position whereby man or woman we equal. Even if I,
And
that's
we're
the
not.
thing.
And
I
we're
will tell you
not.
like, okay, I'm
And we're
broke.
not.
Let's not go. You understand?
I agree with you. Men and women are equal.
You agree with
They're
that?
not.
Okay,
They're, we're two different. We're two
She's an
different.
outside.
We're two different. Listen, no, but listen. Can I speak though? Can I speak? I feel like the way this is how I think relationships should work. Relationships aren't equal. We both don't have the same things to put in. You feel me?
Different responsibilities.
But I feel like there can be a way where it makes sense for both parties. Where like now one person is getting
Back
less.
to his idea.
I feel like it's all about equity. Let's say, for example, like you were talking about taking out the trash. Let's say I was home all day. Why can't I take out the trash because you are at work? You know what I mean?
Don't do it.
Like I feel like
I'll get off work.
I'm sorry, okay, but it's all about that. It's all about, does it make sense? For example, let's say I make more money than my husband, right?
You won't.
Okay, let's just say, I make more money than my husband, right?
Would you take care of me?
Of course, I mean,
Like let's say I'll pay for more
You buy me a
bills.
house.
Listen, my friend.
My
I'm.
Yeah.
Can I go back to my example? If I make more money than my husband, I'll pay for more bills. Because like, let's say he can do other things that make sense. So like it balances out. You know, it doesn't have to be equal, but it has to balance out. And at that, like, if let's say like you're insecure about the fact that I make more money, and you go to work, and I barely see you, our relationship starts to struggle. Like you don't start to, stuff like that. Stuff like that. That's why it doesn't matter.
Jay, besides that, right? You just said if you as a woman make more money than me, that's more like a challenge to me. Like, nah,
No,
this
it's
can
not.
happen.
It should not be a challenge. That is your wife.
I'll look at myself like, okay, what kind of man am I? I gotta do something. I gotta do something that will put me out there. But other way around, if I make more money than you,
You can bring your family to stay by my house. You can bring
Your
your
father,
your mother,
your
your
uncle.
sister.
I don't
Everybody
even
stay in my house.
the
That's
fact
cool.
of
I have no
having
problem.
like mothers-in-laws, brothers living
But
with me. But if they have to, then yeah.
quick question,
But-
quick question, Jay, quick
It's
question.
about the
Quick question. Would you buy your mother-in-law a house?
Yes. Yeah. No, I'm not buying my husband a house because that man can wake up and put another woman.
There you go. Thank you.
That's the thing. But a man will take you financially.
At the end of the day, it's not about if it's equal. It's about, does it make sense for the relationship?
and-
Like, is it fair for both?
It don't make sense.
Okay, this is the thing. I feel like men take us women as like we want a relationship to be 50-50.
It don't.
Okay.
I don't expect my relationship to
what
be
do you- what is
50. Because there can be something you lacking on and I can teach you. And there can be something I'm lacking on and you can teach me. So today, I can be at a 20. Listen, I can be at a 20 and I'm going to need you, my husband, to be at an 80. And the next day you can be at a 20 and you're going to need me
I
to
won't
be at a...
the 20 though.
You don't. You never know.
won't.
It's a life.
And
You
that's-
can be
and that's-
all the way up and then the next
I
thing you
might
know,
go
you're
down
all
to
the way
70,
down.
but I won't go
And
down.
that's when you know when a real woman is. She pushes you up.
Pushes you up.
Yeah.
Don't lift you up. She pushes you up.
Of course, I have to
She don't lift you up. That's exactly
Let's pause right there. Let's
If
pause right
I
there. Let's
lift
take
you up, that's me
My
taking
coffee
the
don't
lead.
have my
But
Let's-
since you want the
quick
lead,
commercial break.
I'm
Commercial
gonna
break.
push you
Commercial
up.
break.
They're saying everything I'm saying. They agree.
Quick break. Quick break. Let's take a quick break. Quick break. Commercial break.